Well. I opened my inbox this morning and there was quite a surprise. I had several long emails from an insider at Ubisoft. And before I share all those details, a lot of you have been asking who have heard that I've got a podcast starting with two spicy co-hosts. Well, that is here. The official announcement is linked in the description below. Make sure you check that out after the video. I think you're really going to be excited and you're going to want to subscribe to that channel because our first episode's on airs in less than a week, or just about a week, I think, right now. So I have a anonymous tip line. Watsy asked for this, WOTCASKEDFORTHIS at gmail.com. That I set up when initially investigating the pedogate in Magic the Gathering. Well, fast forward about 6 months, now that has become quite the tip line for anonymous people to send me information and for you, the viewers, to send me stories to cover. It fuels the channel, and I'm so thankful for all of that. If you saw yesterday's video, that games journalists were pissed off that Ubisoft refused to take a position in their games politically, and we all know what that really means. Games journalists, specifically this one at PC Gamer, I think it was they want them to agree with their far left ideologies. Obviously, they don't want pro-America, pro-West type video games. They want their dystopian political indoctrination crap. And anything less than that is why they're mad. Well, I put out that video and it did pretty well. And I actually had a few people who work at Ubisoft reach out to me. And one shared some interesting information, but then there was a particular female who that's all I can really share about this person because, hey, I don't want to get anyone fired. And if I don't protect my sources, then they won't reach out to me. Shared a lot of interesting information. So she said that initially, I want to point out that this person is not unhappy with their job. In fact, I feel kind of bad for her because some of the details she shared were really sad, and we'll talk about that. So every year we have a big barbecue for the entire studio. I happen to be in Montreal, so we are the biggest of the locations, about 3,000 employees. We talk about upcoming events, projects, and the CEO speaking about that particular year's current and future goals. This is not uncommon inside companies. You have, sometimes they use a Christmas party. Ubisoft decides to spend a bunch of money throwing a giant party. At the end of the presentation, there was an interesting point made by the CEO and referred to as the big point, pointing out that the current gender breakdown at Ubisoft is about 75% male, 25% female. Now, I don't really know how their staff breaks down, but I have to assume that the vast majority of their employees are developers, a position that is clearly dominated by male choice. It's a position that men choose to go into, despite companies bending over backwards to offer scholarships and things like that to female. It's just a job they clearly don't care for, and that's okay. She said that there are many women in HR. Programmers are more rare. It's just the way women and men choose their field of expertise. Wow, this is reading like a potential James Damore type letter, right? So they have 25%. Their current numbers are female, but in the short term, their company goal is to get it to 30%. And she couldn't remember the exact deadline. She also said that they pointed out that they will be making sure that women are helped to gain higher positions in the company, like management, and that now a new series of diversity courses will be offered, adding that he strongly encourages team leads, project managers, and other leadership roles to take that class. Let me break this down because there are three really important things in just these 2 sentences. So first of all, don't care about the gender breakdown of Ubisoft or any other company. If your company is 100% male or 100% female, I don't care as long as it's the 100% best qualified people for the job, right? This is a fallacy. This is the fallacy of affirmative action type stuff. Look, in a vacuum, these people believe that there are 2 equally qualified candidates for any one position. One is male, one is female, and they can just hire the female. Although this is a scenario that is impossible, right? If you see 2 candidates, maybe you're looking at them on paper, just their resumes, okay? Or CVs, some people call them. 2 candidates can appear pretty even. But when you interview them, there is no chance whatsoever that they are the same. They won't have the same work ethic. They won't have the same background. They won't have the same work-life balance. They won't have the same life experiences. They just are not the same option. So this is my primary problem with affirmative action, is it is built on a lie. It is statistically improbable that you will have 2 identical candidates, and it gets even less likely at more skilled positions. Look, if you're hiring to work at the counter at Walmart or McDonald's or fast food joint, I think this is easier to do. But when you're talking about skilled positions, it's nearly impossible. The idea that they're going to try and change, jigger with the percentage of females in the workplace is absurd. Why don't you just fire 5% of your total staff that are men then? The idea that you can choose a woman over a man for any position simply to fill a quota is insanity. It's discrimination. It's disgusting. The other thing was that it sounds like they want to fast track women into positions of leadership. This is an optics thing. I assume they're going to fast track the type of women that will also purposely hire women. I don't know. I don't care if this was just replace women with men. Okay. Imagine what the news media would do with that story. Local manufacturing plant is fast tracking men to positions of leadership to help get more men in positions of leadership. Why? Because reasons. And the third part of the statement that is perhaps the most frightening is this diversity re-education camp course that they have. And let me tell you something, as somebody who spent most of their life in the white collar, business world, when the CEO suggests you do something, it's not really a suggestion. And if you don't do it, he or she will know, and you will always be marked as that person that didn't do what they wanted you to do. The CEO can't force you into diversity re-education, but if you don't show up, it will hurt you. I can share an example. At my 2 corporate jobs ago, I worked in a company where I was at the C-level, chief marketing officer, and we had about maybe 200 employees. And we had this leadership course once a week, teaching this John Maxwell run-of-the-mill, don't put your baby birds in eagle school, platitudes, bullshit, leadership, marketing wonk, right? I stopped going to those courses, and it specifically in my exit interview cost me a chance to have ownership in the company, which is why ultimately I left. And that was many years later it came out. CEOs remember that. So when a CEO says, I really think you should do this, that's not a request. And to me, this is forced diversity. This is discrimination against men, clearly. And there's a line in this email, and there's plenty of other stuff to share, but I don't want to go too deep. There's a line in this email that's really sad. To be clear, I'm not worried about my job. If I stay silent and keep working, Could you imagine? I mean, I've never been like I love video games, but I don't love them. I love online marketing. And when I get my dream clients to work for, it's a big deal to me. Imagine being a developer or a graphic designer, front-end UI, UX designer, and you get to work for Ubisoft. That's like the cream of the crop. And then to have that attitude, like, oh, boy, I like my job, but I have to just keep my head down. I have people inside Wizards of the Coast that have said this exact same thing to me. It's so sad. This is what discrimination against men and women looks like in practical sense. This is, in this case, clearly discrimination against men. And this is a woman pointing it out to me. Women don't want to get pandered to either. They earned it. As far as I can tell, this person earned it as just as good as any man, right? And that's great, obviously. And this person has been working there many years. Interestingly enough, she also shared that the Toronto and Quebec studios have 2 CEOs, one male, one female. Now, I've never seen companies that have 2 CEOs before. That's weird. It's literally a position for one person. But it's interesting. And I suspect once this video hits and people share it around, and by the way, I know I often say, hey, there's a tweet linked in the description. Please share it. This is one that people need to know. This is important. This is, in my opinion, inter-office discrimination. This is forced diversity and a creepy, like, re-education type environment for leadership teams. Meaning you're not going to be in a position of leadership in this company unless you subscribe to whatever the hell these diversity courses will offer. Now, I'm hoping that I will get some leaks from inside these diversity courses, but who knows? This person was pretty nervous about sharing their information, and I assured them that I would keep them anonymous under all circumstances, and I plan to do that. But this doesn't look good for Ubisoft a day after I praised them for refusing to take an ideological standpoint. It looks like they understand how to sell video games, just not how to not discriminate against people in the workplace.